Picture this. You're a useless high school student with no skill but lots of money because your parents are loaded. You get into Ivy League University for rowing, a sport you've never done in your entire life. Just because your dad's got that moolah, like I said. Can we restart?
Operation Varsity Blues is a documentary that exposes how Singer ran an elaborate scheme to cheat the system. He introduced himself as a college admissions consultant, but really, he was a businessman selling shortcuts, side doors as he called them, for the wealthy to bypass the real admissions process.
You've never had an issue with this.
Like some article comes out that the polo team is selling seats into the school for 250 grand.
Well, no, because she's a water polo player.
But she's not.
Singer had a few tricks up his sleeve. One, bribe coaches. Oh, I forgot.
Well,
Singer had a few tricks up his sleeve. One, bribing university sports coaches to pretend his clients' kids were top-tier athletes. Soccer, rowing, tennis, you name it. It didn't matter if they had never played the sport before. If the parents paid up, they had a sport.
But that wasn't all. He also had a test-taking service. Parents paid thousands of dollars to have someone else take the SAT or ACT for their kids, or to have their scores magically corrected before submission. And these weren't just small-time scams. These kids were getting into schools like USC, Yale, and Stanford.
Meanwhile, hardworking students were grinding, pulling all-nighters, worrying about every point on their SATs, just to have their spot stolen by some kid who bought their way into their rich parents.
But karma came knocking. In 2019, the FBI took down Singer in an operation called, you guessed it, Varsity Blues. Turns out, they'd been wiretapping him for months. When they finally caught him, he had two options. Either go down alone or snitch and get time off.
Hey.
Hey, Rick.
So I changed your daughter's ACT scores. How much are you thinking of paying me?
I can get you 10,000.
10 is great, but we need to get to 20.
Alright, you gotta tell me when to go. What are you...
Operación Varsity Blues.
What is this kid talking about? Let's be real. What really happened to those rich parents? Some got fines, some got months in jail. But for a lot of them, nothing really happened to them. For the students that got into college, a couple of them got expelled, but it was more just their lives were ruined.
Harvard's calling me. Let me check.
Hello, is this Dylan?
Yes.
Dylan, we're sorry to inform you, but you have been rejected from Harvard.
No, rejected. For real?
Rick Singer pleaded guilty to charges including racketeering and conspiracy. Prosecutors have asked the judge to sentence him to 6 years, which would be the longest sentence in the case. Actresses Lori Loughlin and Felicity Huffman were among dozens charged in the case.
Smith uses many interviews with the actual FBI and college admission professionals as ethos.
The intended audience for this film is young adults and high school students. When they see how corrupt the admissions process can be, the documentary evokes a sense of anger and unfairness.
The documentary cuts between real-time footage and a movie-like reenactment of Rick Singer's actions.
The movie has lots of ominous music in darker colors to really exemplify the message that this was a severe scandal that had nothing positive except to make one thing clear. The U.S. college admission system isn't just competitive, it's deeply flawed. If you've got money, there are loopholes. And people like Rick Singer know exactly how to exploit them.
And that's the key takeaway. If one guy could pull off a scam this big for years, how much else is slipping through the cracks? How many other kids are buying their way in while others have to work extremely hard just to get a fair shot?
At the end of the day, college should be what you know, not what you can pay.